Trump asks OPEC to cut oil prices, says it will stop Russia-Ukraine war. US President Donald Trump has asked the OPEC to cut the prices of oil, arguing that it would stop the Russia-Ukraine war. He had made a similar claim earlier too, addressing the annual World Economic Forum in Davos in Switzerland via video conference. Trump accused the OPEC Plus alliance of oil exporting countries of being responsible for the nearly 3-year conflict in Ukraine. We want to see OPEC cut the price of oil. That will automatically stop the tragedy that's taking place in Ukraine. It's a butchering tragedy for both sides, the US President said on Friday, noting that a large number of Russian and Ukrainian soldiers have died in the conflict so far. Trump said, right now it's just bullets whacking and hitting men. There are over a million men killed and they are losing thousands of people a week. It's crazy war, and it would never would have happened if I was president. This is crazy that it happened. We want to stop it. The US president had earlier said Russian President Vladimir Putin should make a deal with Ukraine while asserting that they would meet as soon as they can. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hopes Europe and the United States will be involved in any talks about ending his country's war with Russia, he told reporters on Saturday. At a press conference with presiding Maya Sandu of neighboring Moldova, Zelensky said Ukraine also needed to be involved in any discussions on ending the war for such negotiations to have a meaningful impact. We want to see OPEC cut the price of oil. That would automatically stop the tragedy that's taking place in Ukraine. It's a butchering tragedy for both sides. US said to US President, noting that large number of Russian and Ukrainian soldiers have died in the conflict. So far, Trump said, right now it's just bullets whacking and hitting men. There are over a million men killed and they are losing thousands of people a week. It's crazy war. It's never would have happened if I was president. This is crazy that it happened, but we want to stop it. China's policy to put America first. The Trump administration will pursue a relationship with China that advances US interest and puts the American people first, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi. Rubio Friday spoke with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang, the first call between the two diplomats. The secretary also stressed US commitment to our allies in the region over Chinese concerns against Taiwan and in South China Sea. Hamas frees 4 Israeli soldiers in exchange of 200 Palestinians. 4 Israeli soldiers released by Hamas in Gaza City on Saturday. Israel halts families from returning to North Gaza over delay in hostage release. Hamas says she will be freed soon. Hamas freed 4 female Israeli soldiers on Saturday in exchange of 200 Palestinian prisoners, the second swap under the Gaza truce. The 4 freed Israelis were led onto the podium in Gaza City amid a large crowd of Palestinians and surrounded by dozens of armed Hamas men. Soon, the buses carrying released Palestinian prisoners were seen departing from the Israeli military prison in the occupied West Bank. Israel Prison Service said all 200 had been released. The releases of either side were greeted by cheering crowds, including Israelis gathered in Tel Aviv and Palestinians in Ramallah. But the failure of Hamas to release another hostage led Israel to announce it was halting plans to let Palestinians return to northern parts of Gaza. Rajapakse's son, arrested on corruption charges. Former Sri Lankan President Mahindra Rajapaksa's son, Yoshitha Rajapaksa, was arrested on Saturday on corruption charges in a property purchase case. Ex-Navy officer was arrested from their home territory over the investigation of alleged misconduct in the purchase of property during the term of his father. Awami League won't be allowed to contest polls, Yunus advisor. Bangladesh's deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's Awami League would not be allowed to participate in elections, a key advisor to the Muhammad Yunus interim government said on Saturday. The elections will be contested among pro-Bangladesh groups only, a top leader of the anti-discrimination movement, which spearheaded the mass uprising that toppled the Bangladesh deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's Awami League would not be allowed to participate in elections, a key advisor of the Muhammad Yunus interim government said on Saturday. The interim elections will be contested among pro Bangladesh groups only, a top leader of the anti discrimination movement, which spearheaded the mass uprising that toppled Hasina's Awami League regime and forced her to flee the country on August 5 last year. Addressing a rally at Chandpur district, Alam said only former Prime Minister Khalida Zia, Bangladesh BNP, Jamaat-e-Islami and other pro-Bangladesh groups would carry on their politics in the country. He added that either of these will establish future governance through fair electoral process, but Awami League's rehabilitation will not be allowed in this country, said Alam, de facto minister without portfolio in chief advisor's Yunus administration. Alam stated that no election would take place until a minimum reforms were implemented and institutions allegedly destroyed by the fascist Hasina government were restructured. Initially appointed by Yunus as a special assistant in his government, Alam later served as an advisor in his interim cabinet. At a function on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly last year, Yunus introduced Alam as main brain behind the meticulously designed student-led movement that toppled the past regime. Earlier, the BNP said it was against banning any political party visibly weighing its support for archival Awami League's existence in the political field. It demanded elections in the quickest possible time after minimal reforms, calling it a continued process. Amid speculations about the formation Amid speculations about the formation of a youth-led new political party by student-led leaders, BNP said interim government would lose its credibility if figures of the government formed a party staying in power. Chinese movements Chinese nationals moved Pak court against police harassment. Six Chinese nationals in Pakistan petitioned in the High Court against police harassment, including demanding money and putting restrictions on their movement in name of security. They filed a plea in Sindh High Court. Thailand offers free transport for week to ease capital pollution. Manila Chinese harassing fishing vessels. The Arab of the future French cartoonist draws a window into the Middle East. Joint polls promise to redefine good governance. President praises new criminal laws, says such reforms require an audacity of vision. Addressing the nation on the eve of Republic Day, President Draupadi Murmu on Saturday weighed in the norms on the One Nation One Election bills brought in the parliament last month, saying the move promises to redefine the terms of good governance. The plan to hold simultaneous elections to the Lok Sabha and assemblies can promote consistency in governance, prevent policy paralysis, mitigates resource diversion, and reduce the financial burden. Can promote consistency in governance, prevent policy paralysis, mitigate resource diversion, and reduce financial burden, apart from offering many other benefits. The president also praised the decision to replace the old criminal laws, the new laws. U.S. court rejects plea US court rejects plea. India prepares to get back 2611 plotter Rana back. Supreme Court ruling that continues to guardrail free speech in India. Indians Express tracks down women and men who reshaped the republic. Maritime to digital India and Indonesia lean on history to forge future. Osamu Suzuki economist Devroy ex CGI Keher on a list of Padma awardees. In the next 5 years, we will work on Yamuna like we did on Sabarmati riverfront. Amit Shah. Yamuna Revival 24 into 7 Metro Shah reveals BJP's manifesto to part 3. Turmoil temporary working to restart operations. Women empowerment quality education's achievements. Delhi CM Atishi during Republic Day address. Invoking B.R. Ambedkar and other freedom fighters, Delhi's Chief Minister Atishi on Saturday in her Republic Day address said that Aam Aadmi Party led government in capital ensured during its last 10 years tenure that the lesser privileged could access quality education, empowerment of women, and employment opportunities for all residents of the city have been the priorities of the AAP government. After multiple FEDSI centers across Delhi, NCR, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh recently shut down unexpectedly, the coaching institute chain on Saturday clarified that it has not closed any center as part of its own decision. The sudden closure of the centers of the coaching institute chain that prepare students for competitive examinations such as JEE amid a prevailing financial crisis has triggered panic among parents and students. In an official statement, FITZI said present turmoil is temporary. Company officials are working to resume operations at all places within a reasonable time. FITZI, which has 73 study centers across the country, has alleged a conspiracy, saying this entire story is a part of criminal conspiracy which had been hatched by the people with vested interest, and very soon a detailed investigation, the truth will emerge. Doctors, farmers among Padma recipients. Nayak killed in Jammu and Kashmir anti-terror operation. Major gets Kirti Chakra. I'm as happy as I was on day of liberation. 100-year-old Libya Sardesai. Goan Friday freedom fighter Libya Labo Sardesai. Sally Holkar. She is celebrated as the revivalist of the Maheshwari Sari. Her work has profoundly impacted rural communities in Madhya Pradesh, preserving a dying art while empowering countless women and artisans to achieve financial independence. Born in Dallas, a graduate from Stanford, Sally moved to India in 1976 from marrying Richard Holkar, the son of Maharaja of Indore. Her efforts not only brought Maheshwari textiles back to demand but also created new markets. Fab India was among the first to sell these saris. Uttarakhand set to roll out UCC tomorrow, anticipates legal hurdle. As the act mandates registration for living couples, people will likely file pleas challenging the provision under Article 21 right to privacy, said a highly placed source. The government made it clear UCC will not impact traditional wedding ceremonies, whether it is Saptapadi, Nikah, Ashirwad, Holy Union, or Angat Karaj under the Anand Marriage Act or marriage conducted under Special Marriage Act. UCC respect all religious and customary practices. From Jan 27, UCC will be implemented in the state, making Uttarakhand in the first state in independent India where this law will be enforced, ensure equal rights and responsibilities for all citizens. In a first Maharashtra, Assam CM to hoist national flag in Dibrugarh on Republic Day. District was once an Ulfa stronghold. So that's all for today. See you in the next one.